Welcome back to TYT Sports. Those of you who tuned into some of our content with Andre Snelling, where he was talking about NFL, but you were like, but Andre talks about the NBA. Well, now we're going to talk about the NBA. Steph Curry. What is up with Steph Curry? Because here's a surface level analysis via Basketball Reference. If you look at his stats for this year, they're down, and the word to use is remarkably down. 24 points compared to his 30 of last year. His free throw percentage is through the roof, but I look at stuff like effective field goal percentage is down 0.6, which is a lot, 0.06. Field goal percentage down almost 40% on the year. He's taking less threes, about 1.3 less threes per game. His minutes are roughly the same. He's attempting less field goals. We understand. We got to accommodate for Kevin Durant in that lineup. And let's go to the advanced stats, too, because it would be rude to not have the advanced stats up when I'm talking with Professor Andre Snellings. Look at the offensive win shares, the defensive win shares, the value over replacement player, the offensive box plus minus. Yes, the word is plummeted, but that's a surface level look because the Warriors are still a very good basketball team, gunning for 65 wins this season, if not more, even though I was like, hammer the under. No way they're going to hit 68 wins this year. Andre Snellings, is this just a surface level look, or is there maybe a problem with Steph Curry adjusting to the Warriors' offense this season?
A little of both. I mean, I don't think that it's a, oh my gosh, trade Steph Curry panic fest.
Yes.
But I think what it's showing, I think what it's showing is that, fit really is an important thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thought was that, well, bringing in Durant, you've got Curry, you've got Clay, they're both shooters. They'll be able to shoot no matter what. And Draymond doesn't need to shoot anyway to be effective.
Sure.
That it should mesh better than maybe the Heatles did. And I think overall it probably has. There's been less overlap. The problem for Curry in particular is that they're going to Durant for almost everything that they used to go to Curry for. Curry was never really the point guard of the team. Draymond was.
Yep.
And so when Curry got the ball before, his role was just kind of the freelance. Like he could shoot when and where he wanted to, out to 35, 40 feet. It didn't matter. There was no pressure. He was the offensive, the scoring engine. He had the green light, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that, he's Steph Curry, so I'm sure he still has the green light, so to speak. But now there's a guy there who scores even better, who has even more of a, MVP profile. Like even when Curry was winning unanimous MVP, there were people like me that questioned, was he really the best player in the NBA? I don't think he ever was. But Kevin Durant has been in that conversation even longer. So I think it's got to be a little bit difficult on Steph's game. Like he can't freelance like he used to. He's not getting as many shots, as many touches as he used to. And he had a game. I remember when Ray Allen would an old commercial, he would say, when I'm on fire, I'm on fire.
Yep.
Well, that's how Steph was all the time. And if he was ever off, he could heat check until he got hot. Now that's not the case. Now, if he's taking bad shots or if he's a little bit off, then it's amplified by the fact that every shot he takes is one that Durant doesn't get to take, is one that Klay Thompson doesn't get to take. And I do think that it's affecting him. And I don't know that it's an easy fix, but even with that said, I think that the Warriors as a team are still much better having him than they would be trading him for whatever you would trade him for.
Yeah.
I think, that he still needs to be there and be a key.
I love how the Christmas Day game, Kyrie Irving hits the game winner, Klay Thompson was playing defense, Steph Curry was on the bench for it. And, man, if you give Warriors haters any rope, and I mean like a centimeter of rope, they take the whole thing with them. Trade Curry. Get rid of him. Trade him for anybody to fit. Like, trade him for Tyson Chandler straight up. Like, we need anybody to get rid of Zaza Pachulia. Give us Andrew Bogut back. Trade him to Andrew Bogut for Andrew Bogut straight up. And Kevin Durant. I think there just needs to be a little more time. I'm going to throw out, they're not exactly the same case in terms of the analogy, but I think it does still fit. Chris Bosh and Kevin Love took some time to adjust to new players, new star players, being around and coming around and adjusting their offense and defense around that. Curry, I think, just might need, before I jump the gun and say trade him to the Knicks in the offseason or he's a free agent, give all your money for Steph Curry, I think he just needs maybe 30 more games. It's enough of a sample size to be worried, definitely, 32 games, those percentages. But I think it also might show how special 2015 and 2016 was in terms of one of the best shooting years in NBA history. If not maybe the greatest shooting year in NBA history. Because anybody who really thought that Curry was going to come back and can we go back to his numbers, his stats from the first card we threw to? That he was going to shoot what? And hit 5 threes a game? I think we might be looking at pretty much what we should not necessarily expect out of Steph Curry, but if you look, it's still better than what he was doing before 2015, 2016. Save for his three-point percentage, which needs to go back up, he was still hitting less threes per game. His free throw percentage was good. He was far better at assisting the ball, but he was also playing more minutes. That's an important note. 38.2 and 36.5 is a significant minutes increase from 33.2. So some of it's just, I think, a little bit of, you're looking at a drop-off maybe because of minutes. We'd have to look at per 36-minute numbers too. But I don't think we jumped the gun just yet. I don't think trading Steph Curry is the answer regardless, even at the end of the season. I just think that maybe it's going to take 30 more games. Maybe it won't click this year. Maybe it's next year.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, you mentioned trading to the Knicks. You would love for them to be traded to the Knicks. We all know this.
For Derrick Rose, straight up, we'll take him.
Straight up.
It's fair because we could have drafted him.
Yeah. I mean, the Timberwolves could have too. They passed on him twice.
Would you trade Andrew Wiggins for Steph Curry straight up?
Yes.
You would.
Yes, you would. Everybody would.
Yes, you would.
There's a list of maybe 5 players, and that's generous in the NBA you wouldn't trade for Steph Curry straight up.
Yes.
So,
J.R. Smith, JaVale McGee, Jamal Crawford. These are just some of my favorite players. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant favorite.
Yes, no, well played. I wasn't ready.
Joel Embiid. Oh, tell me you saw the DeMarcus Cousins moment.
Oh my gosh, that matchup. Like, I went to the Pistons game last night and then came home and immediately put it on the Kings. And who would think the Kings and the 76ers would be must-watch TV? But like DeMarcus Cousins against Joel Embiid, that was just gorgeous. That was the NBA at its best, and then knowing it should get better because they're both. I mean, Cousins is who he is, but still, Embiid is so young. That was great. Did you catch Cousins' quote after the game?
I did. I was going to say, just for fun, I'm going to throw that into this clip too, so our editors can throw it in post. Just we're going to drop in here Cousins talking about Joel Embiid after the game, and them slapping each other's ass. It was like Cousins isn't like anybody. Cousins loves Joel Embiid, which means he's going to get traded to the Sacramento Kings.
When you look at things like the matchup tonight against a very young, up-and-coming center in this league, what was that like? What are your thoughts on Joel Embiid?
I like that kid a lot. I don't give a lot of people props, but I like that kid a lot, man. I think he got a great chance of being the best big in this league after I retire.
What is the momentum that you guys have? Well done. I can laugh at that, too.
I think we're in agreement here. I think that I love the people want the narrative to be Steph Curry on the trade block, and when we get to our trade predictions clip that it's going to be around is Steph Curry safe in Golden State?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, you were right about needing more time. I mean, because honestly, coming into the season, I thought Kevin Durant was going to have to adjust to being in Golden State.
Right.
And what's happened is instead Steph Curry is the one that has to adjust. And that's a hard adjustment. You mentioned Love and Bosh, but they were the man on teams that weren't that good.
Right. That's
Curry
true.
was the man on an NBA champion, that broke the record for the most wins ever.
Yeah, let's
so
not forget
I think it's
that.
a harder adjustment.
Do we have to remind the world every time we talk about Steph Curry and his greatness as a player, just in general, that he does have a ring already?
Mm-hmm.
And probably, I would safely think that he might get another one at some point, if not this year, next year,
You're going out on a limb there.
One more, just, not one, not two, not. If not, they can Photoshop it like they did in the Cavs locker room or the away visitors locker room. All right, so comment below, comment section. Don't get mad at me. Should the Warriors trade Steph Curry? Seriously, but sure, duke it out in the comment section below. Make it interesting. Who would you take for Steph Curry on the Golden State Warriors in the most landscape-changing trade deadline move in the history of the NBA? Follow Andre at Professor DRZ on Twitter, hoopslab.rotowire.com. I urge you to watch the NBA scorers are not like Michael Jordan clip. but they are like these two legends clip. I won't even give you the spoiler, because it's a fascinating look at NBA today, and the comment section loved it. There's almost 1,000 likes on the video. Andre's getting famous. He might get an ego from it. But we'll see you next time.